Get ready.
80's Overdrive is a love letter to the sprite-scaling arcade racers of the 80s such as Lotus Turbo Challenge, Rad Racer and of course the timeless Sega classic Outrun. The game was originally released as an eShop exclusive on the Nintendo 3DS and it gained a small but dedicated following, and it's now been polished for release on the Nintendo Switch. The game offers three main modes: career mode, time attack and level editor. The career mode sees you race in various exotic settings against increasingly difficult AI in order to unlock new races, earn prize money to purchase upgrades for your car, and of course, shiny new cars. You also have to pay for the fuel during races and repairs to your vehicle, in addition to increasingly expensive fees to enter events. On several occasions, this led me to not even have enough money to enter the next event, when I had to virtually wash my opponent's car in order to scrape together the funds to get back in the race. A simple yet fun mechanic to justify better management of your finances. Additional ways to earn extra money are the challenges offered to you at the start of the races. These can range from collecting shady stolen goods scattered across the track to taking out specific opponents Chase HQ style. After completing all the races on the map, a final challenger emerges with a car so fast it's basically impossible to defeat with fair racing. The only way I could find to beat this final challenge was to use all my turbos at the start to get ahead of my opponent and then race defensively for the rest of the course. Took 2 or 3 tries, but it never really felt unfair. Time attack mode is more of a straightforward arcade racing experience where you race against the clock with branching paths at the end of each stage, similar to Outrun, where the challenge is to see how far you can get before the timer runs out. The track editor, pretty simple in nature, allowing you to change various parameters such as the track length, curves, hills, and the game generates you a track based on these values, and it gives you the code for this track as well in case you want to share it with a friend or revisit that track again in the future. I personally love the artistic style and graphics in the game. At first it did seem a little bit jarring that the vehicles didn't have any depth. This was especially noticeable when you're overtaking them. It can look like you're overtaking a cardboard cutout of a car. But I think overall, combined with the pixel art and the vibrant 80s palette, I think this adds to the charm of the era that this game was trying to capture. My only real gripe with the game was the lack of analog steering. I understand 80's Overdrive is paying homage to the old 80's home computer racing games which utilised digital steering, but these games themselves were usually ports and clones of arcade races which did feature analog controls. There were definitely some moments in the game when I was trying to make slight adjustments to the steering to overtake a passive vehicle, which ended up with me being wrapped around a lamppost on the side of the road, which I think would have felt a lot fairer if I had degrees of adjustment to the steering. All in all though, I highly recommend 80's Overdrive. It doesn't quite have the same polish as similarly influenced games such as Horizon Chase Turbo, but this is reflected in the price. Outrun is one of my favourite racing games of all time, and I've played 80's Overdrive a lot more than the Sega Ages re-release of Outrun on the Switch, which is similarly priced. So if you're a fan of arcade racers from this era, 80's Overdrive is definitely a game worth checking out.